scheduled meeting of the Economic Development Council or Commission to order at 7 p.m. Do we have anyone wishing to speak during citizens to be heard?
No, Mr. President.
I guess we have a public hearing to give interested persons the right to appear and be heard on the adoption. Oh, that's,
No, you're looking at minutes.
I'm looking at the minutes. Okay. We have a consent agenda of 7 items, and since Rick could not be here tonight, he asked us to pull item 4, approval of the fiscal year ending 2016 revenues, expenditures, and encumbrance report. Apparently, there's some problems with the computer program, and the dollar amounts reflected on some of the past data is not correct. They're in the process of mitigating that, and we will address that at the next meeting. So,
About item 7 on that too, the appropriations.
no, that one should be fine. It's a standard.
Yeah, 7 was the budget that the EDC could not, was unable to approve at the last meeting due to the lack of a quorum, and City Council at the subsequent meeting went ahead and approved the EDC budget.
Yeah.
This is,
It's already approved, so it's just a matter of course for us to approve it, I guess, in arrears. but Ratify it. We've already gone through everything on it and have done that the prior meeting anyway. We could have a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of items 3, 5, 6, and 7.
So moved.
Moved by Milstein,
Second.
second by Helms. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, the next item we have for individual consideration is a presentation by Sergio Beltran, Director of Operations for Slim's Chicken LLC, and discussion and action on a request for Slim's Chicken Restaurant and SSCP Management for economic development incentives for the development of a fast casual restaurant to be located at the intersection of State Highway 16 and Hausman Road. Property more particularly described in Bexar County Abstract BCAD property ID numbers 113-5073-113-5087. Could we have a motion to open the presentation and discussion for item 8?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Anderson,
Second.
seconded by Hale. If you'd like to, go ahead, Sergio, and start your presentation.
Good evening. My name is Sergio Beltran. I'm Director of Operations for SSCP Management, and we do manage several brands. We do manage Applebee's. We own, actually, the brand of the Royce restaurants, and currently we are developing Slim Chicken, so I'm Director of Operations that one as well. For me, been working with the company for several years, my mission is develop and grow the brands as they give me. So currently we have the markets of Austin, for Applebee's for Austin, Houston, Dallas, and Oklahoma. Traveling so much with them, I had a request for them developing the Slim Chicken. I fell in love with this brand. And my only request was to bring it back home. I'm a local, even though that I was born in Mexico. My roots come back to Heloris. So I'm a local, and that was my thing. It's like I want to come back home and I want to start from here. My proposal to the company, not just my franchisee, but the company itself, which is based in Arkansas, it was, I want to become a training store. I want to become the number one. I want to become everything for you. And we have proved that before. We are always achievers, overachievers in many cases. And right now, this is the process. It's my dream for this one, the first one in Central Texas, to be called home in Heloris. That is the reason, because we're proposing, and now it's like I'm so hard-headed that I want to be here. We have a couple of more options, but we really believe that, I really believe that we can bring this to to town, and not just to have the good product, which I really believe in the product, but it's the culture that it comes in that. It's a different. For me, it's a total experience. It's not just a dining experience. It's an experience that you live. Once that you go into the building, you see something different. It's not just the way that we treat our guests. It's the same thing with employees and become part of the community. It's been the same situation everywhere. Oklahoma and North Texas, we are so impressed with it. It's like if I'm inviting you to my house, literally. That's the way I feel it. So you come into my house, and I'm going to do the best. And this has been. So coming back to the numbers, it's been a little bit higher due to we are sitting on the top of the aquifer and many unexpected expenses that we were trying to rush everything, and we didn't forecast many of the situations. So our cost is coming out of about 750 to 800,000, more than it usually would be any development. But nevertheless, we really believe that we can bring it back in here, and not just creating this opportunity for the town, because we are going to be creating, to start off, about 35 to 50 jobs. But that's not going to be the end of it, because we're going to become the training store. We're going to have in the satellites. With that, it comes the training teams. With that, it comes the people that is going to come in from all over the country, because actually the brand is developing. Currently, we have about 60 restaurants nationwide, but we had 30 franchisees. Every franchisee has a commitment of 5 stores each. So in a period of 3 years, we're going to be growing over 150 to 200 restaurants. Nevertheless, all of that, nationwide, this is going to be home. This is going to be a training store, of course, with Arkansas. So for me, it's to bring out, like I always tell Glenn, I want to bring Loris, put him on the map. The people will be talking about it, because I know that we can bring that, the culture that is from somewhere else. We're going to embrace it in here, and we're going to share with everyone what we can offer. But we request a little bit of help with that, and we don't want to be so greedy. So we believe that we can bring between 2.2 to 2.5 millions on sales, annual sales. So coming back to that, whatever, it's going to be the share and property taxes. Overall, the picture we're looking into not requesting more than 40% of that in a period of 10 years as a tax rebate. That will be possible. If you will help me with that, we're going to be to the next level. Now, due to the connections that we have, and Glenn mentioned, it would be good to bring different brands in here. We are the door for many of those outlets. We can bring brands, we can bring development, we can bring construction, because that's what we do. SSCP management is not just the restaurant, but it's retails, it's outlets, it's offices. So that's what it would be, our connection. We want to develop the partnership. Any questions?
I didn't quite hear the percent that you need for property tax incentive.
Overall, we're looking into about 40% for the next 10 years, not to exceed 350,000.
Okay.
Okay, now, you understand that as an economic development commission, the only thing we can address is 40% of our economic development portion of the sales tax. The rest of it, city council is working on.
Okay.
The property tax would be done by city council, so we're just addressing 40% over 10 years of our sales tax revenue from the Slim's Chicken restaurant.
Perfect.
If I understand it correctly, our goal tonight is to address this. If we wish to participate, to vote to do so and forward that to city council, and that will be included in the economic development package.
Would be a chapter 380
Right.
if we decide to move forward.
What is our activity on that agreement so far this year?
On other agreements that we have, we don't have a complete request yet from anyone. So we're getting close to one with DNA Partners, the strip center across the street. Right now, I think we're only looking at Feet Cigar, but they completed everything this morning. Mr. Dempsey still has stuff that
Sure.
can give to us.
On the site improvement plan where you're located and where your property is, at the back, I see two little devices, but it's not a way to get out, is it? On each corner, it looks like you can go into the housing unit or something. Is that right or wrong?
That one?
Look like drainage.
Right on these corners.
No, the fire department during a preliminary meeting just asked for a drive.
Okay, what is this then?
Which is,
Is it drainage? Drainage.
Okay, so it's an in and out only by the front, by Bandera Road.
Currently, yes.
Okay.
Now, we do own, out of the 3.6 acres, or 3.8, we are going to be using just 1 acre for the restaurant. So the plan, our second plan, is going to be developing a strip center in the back. That's going to be stage 2.
Up at the front, is that a location of something already there?
No, sir.
Okay.
It's
that's
vacant.
you. That's still you.
Restaurant.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Go ahead. Carl, do you have any questions pertaining to it?
Just the commercial questions. Obviously, this is brand new, so we have no idea of, what you're offering menu-wise. What is that all about? Obviously, we have chicken involved, but what else is on the menu kind of thing? I just want to know, is it like a Chick-fil-A kind of thing? Or what kind of a restaurant is it going to be?
Right. So it will be something, the closest thing will be Chick-fil-A, if you might say. We do not have the chicken salad, but the hardcore is chicken tenders. Now we have the fry and grill. Out of that, we have the chicken sandwich, we have the chicken salads, and everything is just chicken. We have the wraps, and then different sides like the mushrooms, fried pickles, which is better than Hooters. But yes,
Next time you're here or next time you see Glenn, could you bring him a menu?
of course, by all means. I will bring you samples, but the closest location right now is Houston.
That's what I was looking for.
We currently have 39 locations developed, and for the next 3 years, it's going to be 150 developed nationwide. We're going to be part of that. We do have an initial agreement of 10 locations in Central Texas. It's going to be San Antonio, Austin, up to College Station. Now, currently, we are under agreement with Sonic. Next week, we're going to be purchasing the 52 locations that they have in San Antonio. That gave us the idea how big is the market, how much is the opportunity here. So those 10 initial, more than likely is going to be in the San Antonio area, and we're going to be moving up to the next level. So, but that's an insight. Nobody knows that we're dealing with Sonic, but that's what
Okay.
we're doing.
Kathy, you have any questions?
No.
Drew? anything else?
I like the looks of the building.
I do too. Looks nice.
It seems to me this is just the kind of business we're looking at supporting, and that kind of fits with our charter.
Okay?
I like the look of it.
Diane?
I'm just looking a little bit online at some of their menu items and
She's trying to
things.
order coffee
Right.
online.
You don't use
Chicken tenders.
Google, why have it?
That's right.
It
our
looks,
meeting.
it
The
looks
projector
good.
didn't work. We blame it on the projector.
Joel?
Have these, do we have anything to compare these incentives to in the past that has been done or anything like that for a restaurant of any kind?
We haven't done one for an individual business.
Okay.
Not like this. I mean, we've had a few grant programs, but the 380 agreements we've done in the past have all been for development.
What about other EDCs or other cities that have done 380 type of agreements? Is this along those same lines as far as percentages and the 10-year period?
Time they don't go over 50%.
Okay.
In rare instances, I think we've made even talked about one with this board that was going to 75%. But that was also after an initial 100% recoup for like $1 million, and we were ready to 75. So there's a lot of flexibility. Standard is usually 10% for 10 to 15 years.
It's pretty standard.
Okay.
And if that I might add on it, usually any other businesses will come and approach you for the grant, for the cash up front so they can help. We're conscious of that. So we don't want to take your cash. What we're offering is like, okay, we're going to generate cash for you. We're going to generate the income. We just want a little bit of percentage of that to help us with the extra expenses that we've been doing. And this decision came up just recently. In the beginning, we were not considering that because it's like, no, we can do it. But because of the aquifer and extra expenses and like delays, like now it's costing a lot more. So we don't want you to pay for it. We are going to help you with that.
If everybody's in agreement, could we have a motion, please?
I move that we support the operation for Slim Chicken Restaurant with the 380 agreement as written and proposed.
Second? Second. Motion by Mulestein, second by Hale. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sergio.
yeah, that's number one. Okay,
Yep.
let's keep a tally of those
Hmm.
as they come through.
Okay, item 8
Was it?
is completed. Item 9 is discussion and action on the FYE 2017 Strategic Work Plan. I have a motion to open discussion on the 2017 work plan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Anderson, seconded by Mulestein. We would, just a couple of notes on this as we get started. Actually, the work plan we have here was just approved on January 17th of this year. We've had a few changes in that time. If you start going through, we can address these as we go through. About the only major changes that have occurred since the first of the year is the failure of the linear park contract to be executed, and dissolution of the HAMBA group. So now we're just working with the Chamber of Commerce since HAMBA no longer exists. If you would, I would like to go through these. If we've got any, we just go around the room and start with Carl and go through Joel and go through this by item. Do we have any discussion or the initial, I don't think, is there anything we need to address on the mission statement, the vision statement, or the history portion of the executive summary? That's pretty well routine information. I don't think we've had any change on that. That's pretty well the same mission statement we've had all along. Start with Goal 1, capital improvements. Basically, I don't know, and does anybody have any ideas of anything they want to change on it? Unless we have something very specific, I'd rather
Leave it.
leave it until
it ain't broke, don't
leave it
fix
till
it.
January or something, or the end of the year, and work a new one up for next year.
I agree.
Maybe just go through it and remove a few things, like on page 5, under projects, remove the Lotus
Yeah.
Linear Park Enhancement Project.
You know, you could actually leave that in, and we can revisit it next year,
Yeah,
which I would like to do. And I think it's a catastrophic failure we didn't get it done, I might say.
I agree.
yeah, but we had a meeting with Tara today and talked to him about that, and I wasn't real satisfied with the meeting, but doesn't appear to be a whole lot we can do about it legally. It's being addressed right now between the city and Tara on some information that they haven't fulfilled on all of the reports and deliverables we were supposed to have that they're in the process of doing. And once that's done, it'll have to come back before this board and the city council to reauthorize payment on that last check for $36,000 that we're holding. So by the time that happens, we'll have more information and legal opinion on it when that comes back. And at that, hopefully, we might be able to do that by the next meeting, I would hope. At the most, 2 meetings from now, I would think.
So,
We'll have to address that again.
I'm confused. So is the purpose of reviewing this to update it? And if it is, we ought to eliminate it. Otherwise, why are we revisiting it again since we started?
Because we want to keep it on our work plan to do in the future.
Yeah, I don't want to keep it on, personally. And we've already said it wasn't part of what we were going to do in the future for this year anyway. So let's take it off for this year. We'll revisit next year.
Well, I
Otherwise,
couldn't
why
possibly
are-
agree.
what are we doing?
You haven't seen all the work that went into that project over
Yes,
the last
yes, I
10
did.
years. We had community meetings, year after year. We had projects come up. We had all kinds of plans to move this thing forward. Everybody in the community wanted this, besides a handful of folks. And frankly, for us not to get this done is a slap in the face of all those years of effort and all those community members who came out and worked hard to make that happen. And
Let's
Well,
not
that's-
relive the past, let's move forward.
right, I agree. We should move forward, keep this on the plan for the future, and work to get it done the next time around.
Well, I think you should change
It's not a 2016 plan anymore,
that
is my
can't be.
point, right?
It cannot be.
So what are we doing? Are we up trying to update this?
Well,
Or are we
don't-
just trying to rubber stamp it? Are we wasting our time? If we need to rubber stamp it, let's move
Lotus
on.
Creek Linear
wait.
Park is a dead deal. The idea of it is a good idea still.
it's not a dead deal. Why would you say that?
Well, I'm saying that because all you're gonna do is
The project we
get
tried
money.
to do just now has failed. That doesn't mean in the future we can't make it happen.
Well, but the way you got it worded here is not correct.
All right, what would you suggest?
I would suggest that we know that the funds are gonna go towards the pedestrian bridge at this point. I would put something like that in there if you want to, or we can always use the linear park as a part of a new future in 2017, another year, whatever. Because that particular one, 10 years, 9 years, I worked on it myself with them. And it was a heck of a long time to finally get the money. And then it was very disappointing that they overbid the thing so badly. So I would suggest rewording it, leaving it in there, have something about the pedestrian bridge funding in there. That's what I would suggest.
But again,
Okay.
that's something new. So I need a clarification. Are we here to just say, yes, we like everything that's in here, eliminate the things that aren't part of the 2016 plan? Or to make up new stuff for 2016? I'm confused.
This says 17 strategic work plan, under
this-
9.
Fiscal year, I think it's called 2017 because it doesn't end until September. So that's what we addressed in January was what was
So this is,
Right.
In
So this
effect
is-
since
this
last
is
October
to-
through. or
this
for the
is
calendar
to guide
year.
us in this coming year.
Right,
Obviously, it would make sense to do it for the
No.
past year. This
it's
is,
here.
so this is 2017, so this is misnoted.
Well, no, this is the 2016 plan, and we,
We're
the way
looking,
I understood it, we were updating it for the 2017.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
That's how I read
Now
it.
got
So 16 stays as is, but for the 17, it'll be,
Well, for the
Right.
we just work through it until 17 comes up, so it could be amended.
well, it's something we can.
and so the thing is that if you didn't accomplish something in the first year, then you push it to the next year and try to get it done in the following year. Our goals have not changed. It's just the timeline that changed. You could essentially change the 2016 to 2017 on the top of this and be done, and we're in agreement with all the efforts that have come this
And
far,
funding secured to search for funding, or
something like that, yeah.
Change, leave Helotes
to seek?
Creek Linear Transportation Enhancement Project, change it to, rather than funding secured in design, to investigate alternative funding or
Right, because that's
investigate
how we
future
found the
development.
Tech dot grant, right? I mean, that's how the,
Right.
you know, the 80-20 matching funds came up in the first place, was our searching for those opportunities. And so we need to continue to find those opportunities.
Okay, we'll
And just, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm not opposed to that either for 2017. If we just say to look at other options for the linear park.
Yeah, investigate alternative funding
Yes.
for the linear park
I'm
project.
good,
Basically,
We have the
you've
rest
got
of the year for,
a
to do
but
it.
it's not a
Design done.
2016 project.
And
Not
then
anymore.
you just change that to that, and on,
And I'll add in the
Then the
pedestrian
shared
bridge
parking?
as a separate item.
Agreement has already been made.
So that's
So it's
history.
a good thing
That's
for
probably a
2016.
26, well, a now project.
Yeah.
The bridge.
and add in there, proceed with, Helotes
Yeah.
Creek, with Old Town Helotes Creek Bridge.
Item, that third
Helotes Creek Bridge,
crossing project.
on Old Highway 16. And the only thing on the next page, page 6, under priority 2, would be to remove Helotes area remove all reference from from the document of Helotes Area Merchant and Business Association, and have where it said Helotes Merchants Association and Helotes Chamber of Commerce, to where those items just reflect Helotes Chamber of Commerce. And then the marketing projects are all in progress. We are in the process of deciding, Rick's going to see if he can schedule a joint meeting with the ETJ,
The Freeze and Nichols.
Freeze and Nichols presentation. They have it ready to go. We probably want to do a joint meeting with the city council where they present all of it at one time. We'll be doing that hopefully in the next few weeks.
How much money do we have left for them?
Oh, how much we paid them, Glenn?
Plan in here.
Hold on.
I want to say they've been paid in full at this point because they fulfilled their obligations.
And we hadn't
26.
authorized a final
I need
check.
to, I'll pull it and send out an email tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think we've given them the final check from the last meeting we had. They hadn't billed us for all of it. And we're gonna finish they
Disappointed with them.
sent the report in for, I think you and Rick and the mayor went through it and made any suggestions to me needed to, so they could finalize the report and present it to us. I think we probably still owe them a final check on it. How much it is, I don't know, but we're pretty much at the point where we have authorized it, and we need to go ahead and get it done, for better or worse, however it comes out. We'll know that when we get it. And we still, have we had any contact back on our other marketing project with anything, or is it still
The retail strategies?
retail strategies?
I mean, they've touched base with a few retailers that are interested in Helotes, just to provide them demographic information. They haven't, I guess they haven't secured a retailer yet directly. But they are continuing, I mean, they give us periodic update reports of the business visits or the people they've talked with. So kind of time will tell. It takes, I'm sure Sergio could probably tell you, it takes a long time in the development cycle, evaluating properties, trying to find the best location. It's not something that happens overnight. But I have put them kind of on warning that the second year is the year they have to come through with something. If not, then this board is not likely to renew their contract.
So in your opinion, is it working out?
They're easy to work with, they're responsive.
Yeah.
We have met with them at a few of the conferences we go to. I mean, I've talked with other retailers, they've heard of them, they do talk with them, so I'm assuming what they're telling us and all these meetings are actually happening, based on some of the comments I've heard. They've been easier to work with than another company we've used in the past.
Okay,
But still, it's results driven.
right.
So if you're signing a $100,000 contract over 3 years, I mean, you expect something in return.
So I know they were gonna do quarterly updates, presentations.
Yes,
If I
so
remember
we are definitely due for one.
Okay. To the city council only, or EDC? or-
EDC.
They'd come to us. We do have the hotel study complete.
Could anyone open that file, by the way?
No,
It's only 700 pages long.
I read it front to back.
I've looked at it this afternoon, and the first part of it, first 20 pages of it or so has some pretty good data in it. Market area data and different things that need to fall into place for a hotel to look at it, and they basically concluded that we could use a medium-sized hotel or extended stay, which is nothing more than a hotel that has probably a microwave and a
small
little
kitchen.
refrigerator in it, and you'd have fewer rooms with that, but it'd be set up more for where families could use it on vacation. And we do have a good location with our location between SeaWorld, Fiesta, Texas, and downtown. You're pretty centrally located to the three of them. Some good information with the back 500 pages of it are a lot of package stuff that was included that you can go out on the internet and get. But
We have already
Hopefully-
been contacted by one hotelier.
yeah, it'll
Choice
give us some
Hotels.
information to present
Was
to
it
potential
Choice?
hotels.
Choice?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the general flag of the brand, but, you know, they do sleep-ins, comfort, suites, trying to think, Quality Inn. They have several brands under them. So he's looking at scheduling a site visit right now to come look at Helotes, and said that they've got an active developer in San Antonio market.
Where might that go?
In the study, they proposed 2 general locations. One kind of on the south end of Helotes, Hausman and Bandera Road area, and then the other closer down to Scenic Loop in Bandera.
Slim's Chicken.
Do you think,
Current status of that property at Scenic Loop in Bandera.
Still for sale.
Right, still for sale. There's critical habitat on 3/4 of it, at least foraging area. I know that was,
do the board members think that the P and Z would okay something larger than 2 stories? Because that's what the limit is right now. You think they'd go to 4, 6, or 8?
If they do, it'll change the character of this town forever.
That's what I'm wondering.
I think they might approve 3,
right.
and that's the only thing that's been discussed is 3, and these smaller hotels don't build larger than that. 2 or 3 stories.
Are they
You're right,
aware
if
of
we,
that?
3-story, we could kind of manage with, we'd have to get another piece of fire equipment or two. If you went past 3-story, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money on fire equipment coverage. And I don't have any other comments on this thing. Glenn and I attended the International Conference of Shopping Centers in Dallas and had a booth up there and we didn't sell anybody on coming in and building on a piece of property. We made some pretty good contacts and have done some follow-up with a couple of the businesses and some different people here in town, so it was interesting. Got to meet a lot of different people from other cities and interchange ideas with them and developers, management people, individual, everything from McCoy's to down to Chick-fil-A, and everybody else was there and had booths, Dunkin' Donuts. So it was kind of a broad mix of everybody associated with retail shopping center business.
Franchise mostly? I mean, I guess it would be, you know, we're not looking at,
Primarily.
you know, mom and pop kind of places
No.
wouldn't show up to an event like that, right?
No.
Yeah.
We've had, some young franchises, that'll pop in every now and then, but usually it's the more established.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Burger King coming in?
They still are.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be with the new shell renovation when it happens.
Okay, well, like,
They've
Yeah.
gotten their clearance with TCEQ, which was the biggest obstacle. They keep saying 6 months, and we'll wait and see.
They've been saying that for 3 years.
I know. Every time
Well, I'm
they
not
update,
real
6 months.
hip on having a lot of chains in here, frankly, no offense. I like the mom and pop
I do
thing.
too.
That's, I think, you know, it's Helotes, it's a family town. That's the way we want you bring in all the franchises.
right.
That could be something that we address
Won't be there anymore,
in the
you know.
strategic plan and the work plan.
I would
give
like to,
more
I would like to,
guidance.
Keep it that way.
agree. Tip my hat to the mom and pop shop and keep this a family town. If we go corporate and franchise only, or mostly, the character is gone and gone forever. And so between us and P and Z, if we let it slip out of our hands, it will not come back. I guarantee you that. You know it.
Well, there's a lot of it we have no control over.
I know it. But we do have some control.
We can zone and have some control over types of businesses, but you can't go pick which business you want and which one you don't want. If one of them's a chain and sells hamburgers and the other's a mom and pop that sells hamburgers, you cannot
Yes, we can.
take one over the other.
If we
it's
are
allo-
a
if it- no,
corporation that
if it's
operates
allowed-
independently from the city.
We can't
No.
stop them from
No,
coming
we
in,
can't,
but
we
we
can't,
can.
if the zoning allows them, we have no
Oh,
control
no,
over it.
no. But what I'm saying is if we offer an incentive.
Right.
Well, we
can
always have
select
the
who
option to do
give
that.
that incentive to.
And I will say, the
Again,
likelihood
no
of who's
offense.
gonna get financing
One of
to
those
get the
things.
project to move forward, though, the mom and pop has a
Right.
disadvantage,
Yeah,
especially a new startup.
and I know it's tough.
Money.
It's tough. But still, that's why the EDC exists, right, is to, help the tax dollars come in, have a good tax base, right? And, but at the same time, keep a vision for the kind of character that we want Helotes to be. Don't lose sight of that. Otherwise, it's only about the money, not about the character of the town. And that's what all those community meetings were about, was what do you guys want in the character of the town? All the effort we went through to put the little windmill on the icon and all that, you might as well put the golden arches up there before you sell out. I'm
Well-
not kidding.
Okay, do we want to address modifying the plan on an annual basis? If that's the case, we probably need to work on it in December and revise it in January would be 1 year.
Probably ought to do that.
Okay, so we can put on everybody put your thinking caps on and look at the plan, keep the copy of it, and see what specific ideas you come up with, and we'll come back month after next and sit down and go through the plan and make the changes that we think need to be done here. There's a few things that we need to, well, there's a number of things we need to look at, but until we're ready to modify it, there's no point in doing it. We can still go that direction without having it in the strategic plan. That is more of a guiding document than anything else. So let's plan on doing that in December. And I don't think, unless, Glenn, do you have any thing you need to bring up?
I've got a question for you. What about the U.S. Fisheries and Wildlife Services critical habitat designations? What, where are we at, or where did we ever go with that? Worse stuff here that they've still got the wobbler and all the rest of them are still in there.
Yeah,
Spiders.
they increased that area. It was proposed to be increased, it got increased, and that's that's an established boundary line now. I don't think, we really don't have a
That you
say
have
in
to get
that.
a 10A permit. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's not, right now, there's no developer that's willing to spend the money and the time to go after a 10A with no guarantees of development. So to sign a $7 million contract with the landowner, to put your company on the hook for that, and then to go after 100,000 plus for a 2-year time to get a 10A permit. Takes 2 years with US Fish.
$1,000 in minimum of 2 years to get it done.
Okay.
No guarantee you'll get it done then.
So the only way to see that site developed is for an EDC to work with the property owner. And I know we've brought that up in the past.
What piece of property you're talking about?
32 acres at Scenic Loop and Bandera Road,
Oh.
across from Old Town. Largest property we have in Helotes. Commercially zoned.
Excellent.
We have no further business. We will adjourn the October 19th meeting of the EDC at 7:43 PM.